Oh goodness. If you get a second round, play with your StreamYard. I like it. So far, anyway. I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, because you can do all your logos on there and just brand everything.
You're tuned into Vonnie in the City with your girl, Siobhan Noel, and a few of her friends. And they are rocking the mic on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back, welcome back. We absolutely could not do it without you. We have some amazing things to talk about and amazing guests per usual. We'll drop some of those M&Ms, motivational minutes, and we'll be giving you the blues news. And you most definitely want to stay tuned for our today. Yeah, yeah. In the city, y'all. Let's go. Go.
I like it.
I do too.
I like it.
We like okay. I thought we was playing the music, some songs today, but hey y'all, hey. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. It's your girl, Siobhan Noel. How's everybody?
Hey, what's up?
How was everybody's weekend?
It was great.
Mine is interesting. I went to another event. This one was about psychedelics.
Really?
Yeah, the pros, how to go about it, if you're interested, that type of thing. What not to do.
Interestingly enough, my first time hearing about that was like 2 weeks ago. I did the Hits live show here, and the gentleman that was on the panel with me, he says he like administers that. And so I'm like, really? Like, so he calls it, I think he was calling it hypnosis and psychedelic therapy or something.
It's deep.
It
It's deep. I didn't know. The class, I don't want to call it class, we call it lecture. It was from 1 to 5. And they spoke the whole time. It was 3 different people. A woman by the name of Mama Ayana. The guy who the main event was focused around, his name is KT, the art degree. Shout out to him on Instagram. And his wife, Trap Oral. And the whole time they talked about moral and etiquette and sex, life, death, and psychedelics. And I thought it was very, very worth my time, my money, and my energy.
So what did they say the primary purpose of that was?
To reach the other side is what
your ancestors. That's what he was saying too.
I mean, it's bigger than your ancestors.
Okay.
It's to travel outside of yourself and get to a whole new world. It's more, from what I learned today, it's more, you have to do this with intention and with purpose, and you have to want to dig deep within yourself and that type of thing, more so than recreation. It's a recreational side. It's fun at some point, but what they were teaching is don't go into it blind.
Right.
You have to have the right setting. You have to have the right people around you. You might need a chaperone with this ordeal.
Really? Yeah, I think I'm gonna need a couple shots.
Yeah.
It sounds scary to me, but before we continue, I want to bring our guest in. Good evening, Ryan. How are you? Join the convo and tell us what you think. Have you heard of this before? I had never heard of it until like 2 weeks ago. No? Yes, if you guys get a second, go to the Hits Live talk show page and watch the show like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so I hosted it, and the gentleman, he comes on Sundays as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the street gospel. And so it's not what I thought it was.
You got Afro?
No, it's the other gentleman on the show with him. And so he's like, you go to, like you said, a whole new, like, it's a whole experience.
It's a whole experience.
And I'm like, that's
people
scary.
People go like how can I put it? People go out of town together simply so they can be with this right crowd and be around this energy amongst themselves or be in this particular setting. I've seen a lot of people do it, like they go walk through the Arizona desert or something and then take it in. You're supposed to either have a good trip or a bad trip, and it depends on where you are. If you're not in a good place, then what I
Don't
think,
do that then.
well, they say
No,
they say if you have a bad trip once you're there, then you need to deal with it. Whatever it is that's causing you pain and in this world, you need to deal with it while you're there. That's what they say. Well, that's what they were saying today.
Well, he administers it. So if you're interested in doing it, we got a person right here at Hits that does it, like for real.
Wow.
Yeah, like he'll take you on like you said, a whole experience.
I met some of them people today.
And so, did you partake or no? You just learned about it.
I'm just learning.
Okay.
I'm not.
Would you try it?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
I'm scared. That is so scary.
On that. I haven't even heard of it.
Because my thing is, how do you come back? Like, I don't want to stay there. Like,
they said, like, they were saying that, and I brought it up in comparative, and they said, yeah, I brought it up as far as the movie Inception. They said, like, an hour might be like 12 hours.
Yeah, that's what he said. It feels like forever.
Right. So you have to be ready to do this.
He has a very interesting perspective on everything. So, like, the gentleman, I forgot his name, y'all. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but he has them, like, he has the show that it's called Street Gospel. So he's the co-host on that show, and so not only does he administer these things, but he has this whole theory, like a lot of interesting theories. He says that a woman's only job is to bear children. And if she does not, if she does not, she's doing herself an injustice, but her ancestry and her everybody basically is what he's saying is doing it. She's doing an injustice. Like, she shouldn't have the right to pick or choose to not bear children. And she should also continue to bear children, like at no stopping point, as long as you're able to bear. Because to me, I feel like I'm not having no babies at 40. That's just my personal opinion, even though I may still be capable to have them. But can you imagine? Like, I don't want to be 45 going to kindergarten. You know what I mean? Like, starting all the way over. Yeah. But his theory was that your ancestors, the whole reincarnation, are trying to come back. And so you're stopping them from coming back. So I was joking or whatnot because my sister has a few children, and I was like, well, I'm gonna let her bring my grandma back because Siobhan ain't finna do it. Like, Nana gonna have to stay there. I see her when I get to heaven. But that
really was a theory.
That was his opinion. That was just his opinion.
That really was his opinion.
Yeah.
And you alluded to it. What if you are not able to bear children? I mean, how can you say that? What if the man can't even produce? I mean,
right.
He was saying if you're able, it was his thing. If you're able and not bearing them, and
so we talk about reincarnation too. But I just didn't like the word only. I'm siding with, like, I'm leaning on what he's saying, but I didn't like the word only. Yeah. Like, that's not. I don't think. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a woman's only job. If I was going to all the way jump on the side of the fence with him, I would say, hey, bro, let's switch it to Maine or something like that. But I wouldn't say only.
I can't even say I agree with Maine.
I feel you. I said if I was to go all the way over there with him, but only, I would just take that completely off the table.
And I guess I feel like I can't even how do you say nicely, respect that stance when you haven't bared any children.
You can't say nothing.
And so I totally agree. And I'm just being, at the end of the day, I just feel like, because he's like, back in the day when people having 10, 15, multiple children, that he's like, now we need to stop being career women and stop trying to go get a job and stay home and be barefoot and naked.
How old is this person? How old is this person?
I don't know, but I want to say maybe a smidget older than me, so mid-40s.
And he has kids?
Yes.
He has a wife?
He has no. So
that's why.
Yeah.
Because I want to meet the woman that's still going.
I'm saying.
I'm like, just saying that's meeting up to this theory or this mind state. Yeah. I want to meet her. Yeah. You still going? Like you said, at 45, 50 years old, you still trying to do PTA? Like, when do you do you? I'm not. That's why I just totally dislike the word only, because it's like you are human too. You do have your own life, and I do believe at some point you're supposed to be, just about.
I mean, the Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply." Get all that. But I still feel like it should be your choice. I believe in woman's choice, and I believe in the quantity. Like, don't tell me I should bear 10 children. Like,
right.
What is that doing to your body?
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with that number.
One does a whole lot.
If you go into the marriage knowing that he wants 8, girl, this is sister telling you that he wants 8, you gonna be able to do it? Girl, I'm a show try. And at 3, you don't start having seizures, setback, and what is that? And that what the called setback or something when you allow wind or air to get in your body and stuff after baby?
I don't even know. But my thing is, okay, so if you're doing what they say is the supposed way, so you waited till marriage, because people aren't getting married at 19 anymore, 15 for that matter, back in the day. So now, right, and so nowadays people are getting married well after 20, sometimes 30s, and now bear 10, 15 children. Like, really?
Not happening.
Like, I mean, does that make sense? Okay, I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a little overly, modernized woman.
Not at all. I'm there with you. A whole bunch of other people
at some point, the man wants his woman back to himself.
I would think so. Yeah.
I don't want you the whole time like that. It's a beautiful place to be. I respect the whole motherhood and being pregnant, and every man would and should, but at some point, I want to get back to what before we start doing it.
Yeah.
So we can get back
enjoy
to
each other.
Yeah, enjoy each other. I like that you brought up the set.
Yeah.
Enjoying each other.
All right then. So yeah, that was an interesting. I'm glad you brought that up and shared your weekend, but I know that's what we kind of deviated a little bit.
Wow.
How was your weekend, right?
My weekend was amazing. It continues to be amazing. Continuing to do some amazing things, and just allowing the universe, allowing God to do what needs to be done for humanity to move forward.
Okay, well, what was you doing?
No. I'm all about really uplifting people and having this elevation and expansion. I think we become stagnant at some point. Not everyone, but we become stagnant in just being content with the content. And so y'all don't get me started. And so what begins to happen is we begin to just settle for being average. And so my thing is in life is to really empower people to go to another level. So that's what I continue to do, and I'm going to continue to do it until my time on earth is done. My late mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, told me something that I'll never forget. He says, "When you die, die empty." So that's my plan. Is to die
good.
empty.
Yeah. Pour into everybody else.
Yeah.
Out there. That's a good one.
So that's what you talking about. Don't get you started. I'm that's what we want. That's what we brought you here for.
I mean, I'm here. So whatever the conversation, we're gonna
that's
okay. That's what's up.
Now, people tell me all the time that I have a radio voice and I should do voiceovers and all this stuff, but you got me beat. You have a talking radio. Do you do voiceovers?
I haven't found my niche to do it, and I'm looking for it so that I could do it. I really want to do it. I want to get back into radio. I used to do radio a long time ago, and really want to get back into it, just to have the opportunity to do something like this, to have a conversation with people, and use the platform to move people in a different kind of a way.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
Interestingly enough, my sister from North Carolina came down and she signed both of us up for voiceover classes. So I'm actually professionally trained and did commercials and all kind of stuff like Publix and all kind of stuff. It was really interesting. I never imagined in a million years that I would even get into radio or even consider voiceovers. And my late husband would always joke. He's like, "I'm taking you to Disney," because he was always saying that I should do cartoons and I'm taking you to Disney. I'm dropping you off. Like, look at that. Like, that ain't funny.
No, I can see that though. Yeah.
And doing voiceover work is fun. I went to school broadcasting. We did voiceover work, and we went to the studio, and same thing. They give you a script for different companies or businesses.
Right.
They just tell you to, go at it.
Yeah.
And they might tell you up your energy, that type of thing.
Right.
But it's fun. And
It does seem like fun.
I mean, to do one script, it won't even take you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you might can nail it within your first shot.
Right.
It's just about your energy and how you approach it.
Personality.
Yeah.
Put your personality
That's
in
it.
it. Yes.
And how you approach
All right. So watch this. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Do it.
You listen to Vonnie in the City on Hits 92.3.
Yes.
The real definition of internet radio.
I thought
Bring it.
from the board over there. I thought that was from the board over there, from the backdrop.
Right. Deontay's so silly.
It's simple for you. You already been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. I love the opportunity. And so again, I'm all about empowering people. I think what begins that. What we fail to realize, and I think I said this the last time I was here, I said people don't realize that your internal conversation becomes your external confirmation. So what you begin to say about yourself on the inside is definitely going to show up on the outside. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to start speaking voiceover coach or not voiceover coach, voiceovers in my.
Okay. Love it.
I see that.
Nice.
It's a platform that you just go and create a profile and create some content to upload, and people hire you. Yeah.
I know Backstage has a lot of auditions on it. I don't know if you ever heard of Backstage.
No.
They got an app.
See,
And Backstage.com, you can go check it out. They always have a lot of voiceover auditions.
get that information.
Yeah.
That's easy
Check it
money
out.
for you.
Yeah.
That's
All
easy money.
Yeah.
Easy
Well,
money.
my week
He remind
was
me
kind
of
of
the old school.
Yeah,
exciting.
thank you.
Tell us about it. Yeah.
Well, I did like a 70s photo shoot with Unique
I saw
Identity.
your okay.
It was so much freaking fun. 'Cause, hey, head on the fro. It was pretty dope. It was fun.
So what was it for? A brand or just for fun or?
Well,
what
actually, it was for content for Unique Identity Photography.
Okay.
So she was doing the photo shoot, wanted people to be in it as far as like doing the 70s. I said, well, shoot, why don't you have somebody that's really born in the 70s in it? Because she had a whole lot of young folks in it. She was like, well, come on. So got my fro, got my bell bottoms, and I went, and it was fun. So
Nice.
I saw you.
yeah, thank you.
Well, Deontay, are we doing any blues news this evening? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay, well we'll hand the mic over to you and let you take it from there.
Turn me up.
And then we'll keep the flow going. We'll hand it over to Miss Skylar. After that, she's gonna have a question of the hour and take some calls. And last but not least, our interview.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're doing the blues news. So I start off with in Arizona, the governor has already said that you do not have to have the COVID vaccine to get your passport. He felt like that was a human decision, or your own human right and your decision, and it has nothing to do with the other. All right, going forward, I'm gonna read to you about a trans woman. A trans woman under arrest for trying to rape a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read it to you. It says a transgender woman has been jailed for arranging to meet what he thought was a 12 and a 14-year-old girl. Jessica Smith, the trans woman, 41, sent sexual messages to decoy social media accounts set up for so-called pedophile hunters. He admitted to 3 counts of attempting incite of child sexual activity and one arranging to commit a child sex offense at Exeter Crown Court. Smith was jailed for 2 years and then 10 months. Judge Peter Johnson told him that you thought you were talking to someone at the age of 14 on social media, and within 10 minutes you turned the conversation into sexual matters. I fail to understand why you thought this was appropriate for any reason other than sexual gratification. All I can say is people are sick.
Yeah.
That's where we're gonna go with that.
That's crazy.
So in other news, did y'all know that they found a whole city under Antarctica's ice? I done spoke about Antarctica a few times now. Yeah, they found a whole city under the ice. I think if my number is correct, I heard like 50 miles long. A whole like structure, everything under the ice.
Really?
Right. This is like a thick layer of ice, but under it, I see the video, they're walking under the ice. They set up camp down there, like the government or the scientists and all that type of stuff. They're drilling down there.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought that was cool.
I love to see that.
I've sent it to you.
Yeah.
All right, so Louisiana lawmaker Ray Garofalo is getting backlash after saying schools should be required to teach the good aspects of U.S. slavery.
The good
Wait a
I'm
minute.
sorry.
That's what it says.
Run that back to me again.
It says Mr. Garfield is getting backlash after saying
Tell
that
them, Skylar.
schools should be required to teach, and they got in parentheses, in quotation, the good aspects.
They know they had to put that.
Wow.
The
Yeah,
good
that
aspects of
quotation.
U.S. slavery. What y'all think about it? Is there a good side to it?
That was my question. Is there?
Well,
there is no good side to it.
Not at all.
I don't care how you look at it,
How
how
you
you
spit
try
it.
to spit it. Exactly. There is no good side.
I don't see the good in it.
unless you're a racist white person.
That's all I
That's,
can come.
that's the only
That's
time
one
you
thing
think
I
it was
can come up
good.
with.
Yeah, but anybody else, no.
So I got a crazy story. A Delaware man killed in Puerto Rico after a drug purchase. He tried to take photographs after being told not to. He was beaten with a deep fryer.
Wait a minute.
A big fire and a piece of
He was a
wood.
24-year-old tourist from Delaware, and he was told to stop taking pictures. And when he didn't, they beat him with a deep fryer and a piece of wood.
Wow.
Okay, this is a crazy story. A black woman arrested after allegedly running over a cop just hours after doing shots on live stream. So what?
Oh, boy.
So what happened was she was drinking. This is in Long Island, and the police officer was out. I think they said at 2 a.m. directing traffic or whatnot. After she get off social media taking these shots, she ran this man over by mistake. But he was 43, I believe, and she was crying and saying that she's sorry. And then you can hear the reporter saying, "What you sorry for?" "I'm sorry, I took him. I'm sorry, I killed him." But I just thought it was ironic that you was drinking shots, and that's so recorded, and then you killed the man right after that.
Wow.
And this was in Long Island, New York. And I got two more.
Decisions, people, decisions.
So for all my Clayton County people, if you've been keeping up with everything, and then you would know who Victor Hill is.
Absolutely.
It says the Clayton County Sheriff returns to work one day after being indicted. Boy, that boy got some power.
He make things happen. He cleans it up.
Hey, it's two sides to every story. I went to high school in Clayton County, so I'm from Clayton County from back in like 2000. I don't know nothing but not so good stories about Mr. Hill. And so, in my opinion, for him to finally get caught up like this and be released like this, that's why I said that man got some power. He connected
I
with the
think
right
he
folks.
has a lot of what they call it, like his, they next guy. What's it, for lack of better words, for like a lot of people in power.
He in bed with the right people.
Yeah, we'll say it. Yeah.
He in bed with the right people. And the last story. Oh, I'm gonna say this too before I quit. All right, but in New York jail, a guard was arrested for allegedly watching an inmate commit suicide.
Wow.
Yep,
Wait a
a New
minute.
York City Department correction captain is behind bars because they watched the inmate commit suicide. The world is turning upside down, man.
Didn't intervene in no way. Didn't
No.
stop.
And I would believe that was part of the job. Don't let them kill themselves.
Right.
Don't let them kill themselves.
Right.
But to sum it up, last week I didn't shout out or give any honor or any props to Black Rob, who passed away. Also, Shock G from Digital Underground, who passed away. May God rest your soul.
Hip hop has really taken some hits.
Yeah.
And the year is not even in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening to Blues News.
Thank you, Deontay. Awesome per usual. So we have a question of the hour. Miss Skylar is going to spearhead that. And by chance, do you have the call-in number? We would like some call-ins. That one was just a little preliminary. Whoever that was, call back. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Question of the day, people. What up? What up? Give us a call, 404-254-4347.
Thank you.
Whatever you want to talk about, whether it's dating, current events, whatever's on your mind. Let's hear it.
All right. So while we give people some time to call in, I guess I'll go ahead and jump in. There we go. Okay.
First call of the day. Let's do it. Hello. Okay. Hi, caller. What's your name?
My name is Melvin.
Welcome to Vonnie in the City, Melvin.
Hey, well, my question is kind of, it's almost like a brain teaser, but it's a question. Melvin Jenkins.
We
my
listen.
question is this. I want to know why women use the phrase "have to wife, happy life.
That's good.
When they in the relationship starting with a man. But it's kind of like a two-part question. And do you think that same principle apply in a lesbian relationship?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That was a cool question.
Well,
Thank you,
first
Mike.
part, right? The first part, I believe in happy spouse, happy house. That's how I roll. So I'm gonna let some other people kind of chime in on the other part because I don't really know about that second one.
As simple as that was, I never heard that. Happy spouse, happy house. That applies to everybody.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay.
For me, you want to go, Deontay?
No, you go.
No,
ahead.
okay. Well, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on both parts.
Okay.
Being always in a heterosexual relationship, that would be my expertise. However, my 2 cents on the lesbian situation, or even what's the two men called? I don't know what that's called. Is that
homosexuals?
I thought both were called homosexual, but it's like
Women
lesbians for women.
Right.
I don't know what men are called. Anywho, but but in most of them, from what I see, there's a feminine and a masculine, I believe, and sometimes it's two lipstick lesbians, so they call them, right? Pillow princess. Yeah. But so I guess they still fall into that role with the feminine and masculine, because one of them plays the dominant role and gets on one knee and asks the more softer one to you know what I mean. So I guess that same stigma would apply for that. Now I like what you said, Skylar. Happy house, happy spouse, happy house. I think the whole happy wife, happy life stigma comes from the wife is the prize to be won. If a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. I think it falls under those categories for the most part.
Yeah.
And
well, I was for real.
Yeah. And so it's all about perspective, really. I look at it at both parts. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I had a goal to make sure my husband was happy, and vice versa. And so I do think it goes both ways, and there's compromise on both ends. So it's just gonna be sometimes I'll be quiet. I'm gonna have my lip poked out, but I'll be quiet, and vice versa. Yeah. But I think that's where that stigma came from. The whole happy wife, happy life. At the end of the day, again, the man finds a wife, find is a good thing. You don't say a woman finds her husband find. You know what I mean? So that's just really where it comes from.
What do y'all gentlemen think? Weigh in.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'm totally agree with you when it comes to the happy house, happy spouse, happy house. It's a give and take. It's not just one sided. I think that's where we have messed up so long, because we have always been one sided. People still say, happy wife, happy life, but it's still both sides.
Right. Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's why I'm at with it. I love Trey.
Okay. Thank you, Carla.
That was good, and you put a different twist on it, because I thought you was going to give the question, so I like that.
I like them to call in.
Yeah.
What's up?
So you all make sure you call in next week as well, because we're going to keep that rolling. That was cute. Well, I wanted to do real quick. I wanted to do.
There you go.
My engineering training kicks in, y'all. I know how to work that board a little bit. Just a minute. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the situation with. I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but back when I did, I watched Married to Medicine, and I watched what was the other one? The Housewives, and I did watch Love and Hip Hop times. So I do know this couple because they've been in there from the beginning. Mendici and Yancy, I believe is the way you pronounce her name. Yandy, yes, thank you. So apparently they recently had an interview, and they talked about he did a bid. I want to say a couple years. I don't know the exact bid, but he went to prison for some time. It was for some time, yes. And she stood by him, rode with her husband, took a lot of heat from it, from outside people, critics, things of that nature. And people would always say, would he do that for you? And she was, ride or die for me. Absolutely love each other, this, that, and the third.
Right.
Well, they were asked that in an interview, and he did not co-sign.
Really?
He said he can't say he would.
Wow.
So I wanted to know y'all stance on that. If your spouse had a significant need, and I believe
what was his? Was it over 10 years or anything like that?
No, it was under 10 years, so a single digit number. I want to say like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And I want to say they weren't married when he got sentenced. And so they were still dating. So this puts a whole nother spectrum or, perspective on it. Because to me, from my husband, that's a strong possible. But for a boyfriend, I'll write you. No.
It's been nice. Take care.
And I come visit. Am I gonna still be here? I don't know. What did you do? That's another question too.
That's what I was
what I mean? Like if you was robbing and killing somebody, no. Right. But then I also, on the flip side, now if he was out here, anything illegal is wrong. Don't get me wrong. Right. But let's say you out here selling drugs and you provide. That's how you chose to provide for your family, and she was okay with it. So reaping those benefits, driving those fancy cars, excursions, all that kind of stuff. You was cool with it when he was out there slinging and making that big money. Right. Then I kind of feel like you need to be cool with it when he get caught. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm with you with that.
So it's so many variables. But y'all tell me y'all's perspective, or I mean.
Well, like I'm kind of with you. Okay. Boyfriend situation, no, but that's my husband. I'm gonna try to stick in there with you. You know what I mean? Especially if I look at different situations, because we Black people, especially Black men, we always get they get railroaded. A lot. So it just depends on, like you said, what they did, how much evidence, what's going on. Now, if you did something dealing with kids and stuff like that, I don't care if y'all my husband, something like that. I'm out. So it just really depends.
Any heinous crime to me is
you out here murdering, you a serial killer. I don't know, doing something else at night and living a different life with me by day. Nah, I ain't about to stand up there with you and be like, I'm standing by my husband. No, that's not happening.
For me, if I can respect the crime, because these legalities are painful. Somebody else came up with that stuff. All of it, I don't agree with certain things. I don't think it's illegal. But they deemed it. They make blah 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 blah. But if I respect the crime and we're married, then let me ask it: is conjugal visit still a thing?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I need the answer to that. We just don't assume that they are, because then Tiny and Tip get in trouble. But see, they was in front of everybody. That's how he got in trouble. So is conjugal visits still?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
If conjugal visits is still a thing, it's totally doable for me. It's totally doable for me. But without, let's just say, without conjugal visits being a thing, Papoose did it for Remy Ma, and she was gone for a long time.
Really?
Some years. I don't remember her.
That's true too. Yes. Now hers was even significantly longer, from what I understand.
Right, hers was longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remy Ma was in there, but Papoose waited.
Yeah.
And I ain't heard a woman or a person come forward yet and say, yeah, I was dating him. Why? None of that. None of that. So it can be done.
Yeah.
Does every man have that will and that strength? Oh man, I can't say yes.
Right.
But it can be done. He's proved that. And he should go. He should get a star in Hollywood,
or at least kept them quiet. You know what I mean? One or the other. If he's done it.
And I don't know what she did. I don't. Maybe that probably has something to do with it too. And he loved them. So
he respected the crime.
Yeah.
Supposedly she injured somebody or hurt somebody that stole something from her.
Gotcha.
And so.
I vaguely remember something around that. So it was self-defense.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Not really self-defense. No, it was on some respect.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I'm
gonna show you a list.
Yeah,
okay.
So it was like that, and he respected crime, so he stood by.
Okay. Mr. Ryan, you want to chime in on that subject?
I don't want to touch that.
Okay. That is too funny. Oh goodness. Well, we're gonna take a quick 30-second commercial, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna jump into our interview for the evening, and
I like that.
Word on the street is that you have something amazing. You're sharing the same more people through social media or email marketing? Cool. Bonnie's got you. Are you looking for a larger platform with a diverse audience? Are you looking to speak with a recognizable brand and keep it affordable? Let's keep it 100. Yes, literally. For just $100, we got you covered. Email Vonnie right now at vonnieinthecity@gmail.com to secure your interview spot. We got you covered. Your brand deserves to be on the airwaves, and that's real.
All right, y'all. You heard it here. Get those interviews booked. Email us, and yeah, we got a seat for you right here at Hits 92.3. So I want to shout out to our guest for next week real quick, and then we're going to jump into the evening, our guest of the hour. So next week is a little bit special. It's Mother's Day.
Yes.
It's special. So one guest in particular, I don't know if I'll have two or not, but anywho, my sister is coming, y'all.
Yeah. It's always nice when family comes.
Yeah. So she has launched a new business, and she is getting into the CBC brands and all that type of stuff, and so she's got it all.
CBD?
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for correcting me.
No,
CBC.
I was trying to process.
Right, I was like,
Y'all keep me
talking about.
Y'all keep me alive. Yes, y'all keep me alive, please. You know I go left. Oh, Lordy. But she's got it in tea, gummies, just about any form, face washes, all kind of stuff. And so she got a whole association. But she will be here next week, you all. And shout out to my sister, Kimberly.
Tell me she bring some.
She
Hi,
will,
Kimberly.
yes. And I'm not a tea person in general. I know it's you should because it's healthy and all that kind of stuff. But she makes one it's a strawberry mix and it doesn't taste like tea. It's so yummy. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So yeah, anywho, y'all will hear all about it next week.
Did you feel it? It had CBD in it?
I did not maybe I didn't drink enough of it. So no. And I'm not really a partaker. Other than that, I've only had some once in the edibles I was telling y'all about. I didn't even know they were edibles. I was thinking I'm eating some Rice Krispie treats. Found out later. Yeah, I felt that. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do none of that kind of stuff, especially outside of my house. I done got lost. But yeah.
I got a friend lost his car.
I believe it.
He lost his car. I think his car shut down on him. He got out and walked away from it and called. Like the way he described it, he was walking and talking and just saying, "Man, the car broke, blah blah blah." And he just kind of walking toward the end of the block. Before he knew it, he had turned around. And he was like, "I don't remember where I came from."
I believe it. It had me a little shook.
Lost for a while because like he left, somebody came and got him, but I guess when they rolled around at night, they couldn't find the car or whatever, and at some point the police found the car.
Wow! Oh my goodness! Lost the whole vehicle.
A whole. I said the same thing, bro. You lost the whole car.
Well, I felt the same way because I went to bed and got up to use the restroom. I couldn't find my restroom, y'all. I was like, who moved my bathroom?
Oh God. That's crazy.
So needless to say, no more for me.
Right. This is like that TikTok that goes around when they're sitting there in front of the oven, thinking it's a TV with the remote.
Oh man.
They're trying to turn the TV.
Yeah.
I know one more. I seen this old lady. I think I shared it. Old white lady. She had. She seemed like she was in such fear. She was so scared. She was like, "Oh my God, oh my God!" I had these edibles. And she had her TV on mute. She said, "I thought I went deaf." She said the whole time my TV was on mute. I thought I went deaf, y'all. Oh God. Oh God. You had to see her face, man. I bust out of it. She was dead serious.
Y'all make me cry. Okay, y'all. Cut all that giggling out, y'all. We got to get in our interview because y'all just have me laughing all day. I'm trying to keep my mascara on. Okay, hey, Mr. Ryan. How are you, sir?
I am wonderfully well.
Wonderful. You see, we have a good time here.
There's nothing wrong with having a good time because life is worth I'm with having it.
Good, good. Well, a little birdie told me you have an event coming up with all your celebrity friends and a whole bunch of good, cool people, good people. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to
I see you over there trying to wipe the tears. So yes, absolutely. So thank you again for having me on and talk a little bit about the event. The event is going to be a nationwide virtual event. It's going to be free, absolutely. And it's called A Conversation with Brian and Friends. And I have invited several of my celebrity friends to be a part of this. One of the things that we want to do is really to go out and make a positive, powerful impact in the lives of our young people, particularly our young men, kings. But we invite, it's open for anyone who wants to join. But we really want to really speak life into the lives of our young men. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a fun 2 hours. I guess I can give the lineup, huh?
Yes. I done posted it on social media.
And so it's actually a few more that's probably going to stop in, but the lineup and Karan Joseph Riley, and if you Google him, most of you guys will probably know who you're seeing. Karan and I talked about this a long time ago. It was something that we really wanted to do and will continue to do is to make an impact in the lives of our young men. So I shot it by him and said, hey man, let's do this virtual event. He's like, yeah, I'm ready for it to happen. So I reached out to him to be a part of it. Rodney Perry, who was just in Coming to America. Most of them are comedians, these comedian guys. So he's going to be a part of. Gerald Kelly, who's another comedian, is going to be a part of this. Mark Christopher Lawrence, who's an actor and a comedian. He's going to be a part. Ali Carter, another actor friend of mine, as a part of it. And we reached out to Judy Johnson. Judy Johnson has been in several movies. She actually just did a movie with Karan. They shot here in the metropolitan Atlanta area. And she's going to join us. And there's a couple other people that I'm still waiting to hear back from. But it's really going to be a great event that we want to make a powerful, positive impact in the lives of our young.
So I want to know where you hang out at to have all these celebrity friends and just whatnot that you just called. Because it's so interesting. When you came on last year, that was the first thing everybody, when I posted your flyer, everyone, I know Ryan. I'm like thinking to myself, well, they don't have school age kids because that's how I know you. And so half of Atlanta know you. So where you hang out at? We need to.
And it's not even a hangout. It's really, honestly, it's being genuine and being authentic. My late friend Tommy Ford, who played Tommy and Martin.
Okay.
And Tommy and I met before he died. I think we met probably 3 years prior to him dying. And it was in that meeting and talking to him, he said, you just want authentic brother.
Okay.
And I never expected us to connect. I never did. We met at a school. I was speaking there. He was speaking there. He gave me his email address. I reached out to him that night and said, it was a pleasure meeting you. He emailed me back that same night and said, hey, call me. His phone number. I'm like, so, I shared it with my wife. I'm like, time to get his phone number. And I think we ended up talking that night. And I think the next week we ended up going to lunch. We sat and had lunch for about 2 hours and really connected. And ever since then, it's just really being genuine, being authentic, being me. Yeah, and
I love that.
And I think that's what people miss, and particularly when you talk about social media. People always want to be something that they're not.
Right. Yeah.
So once we get back to that of being who we truly are, I think that's when you really begin to tear those walls down. People become comfortable around you, and will really have an opportunity to partner with you, to speak for you. As a matter of fact, it's so interesting. Most of the people who are coming to be a part of this, I met through Tommy.
Oh, okay.
At one event that we had here in Atlanta, and we connected. So it's really about being authentic.
Yeah.
And I could co-sign for that. You have that warm, fuzzy personality. I remember my son's first day at orientation. You were probably the only administrator or person outside that was out there taking pictures with the kids and just making it an amazing experience versus telling them what to do. Y'all go here, do this. You know what I mean? You stood out. You know what I mean? So you have that warm, fuzzy personality and all that. So I can attest. I can definitely co-sign on that.
Yeah, part of that, being 6'9" and and so number one, I already stand a foot above everybody else because I'm 6'9".
I didn't want to say that part too obvious, right?
But I have to. Yeah, I have to. I can't say I have to blend in, but I try to do my best to make people feel comfortable. Because number one, most people will walk up to me and the first thing they want to ask me is how tall I am.
Okay.
And as a public speaker, I've learned over the years how to diffuse that question.
Okay. What's your answer?
When they ask me the question, 205.74 centimeters.
And they turn out different.
Yeah, they're like, 205.74 centimeters.
Yeah.
So, and it also makes people laugh because I think with the other thing people will ask me if I play basketball. And sometimes I'd say I would do I was a Russian ballet dancer, or I played miniature golf.
Oh goodness. Well, cool. So, what triggered you to have this empowerment?
I think what's going on in society today with all of our young men, and I can't say targeted, but we're having our young men killed by police in certain areas. And with COVID, I think that whole human touch has been lost because just think about it. We've been in isolation, so to speak, for years. I mean, we're still in isolation, but we wanted to have an opportunity to really connect and be able to speak life into our young men. And one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and put out there now, because we're going to talk about it. One of the things that we want to do, when I say we, you talk about Karan and I and some other people, when we get back to our normalcy, we want to have a camp for our young men. Okay. But we find have a place, and we spend the weekend. Okay. Just really speaking life into our young men. And I think that's just a big part of that. There's so many, and then being at the school, I mean, I'm being a school counselor at an all boys charter school, there's so many single parents who reached out to me as school counselor, wanting their sons to be involved in something. Right. And so it's just an opportunity for us in this season to be able to do that. People, when we went into COVID in 2020, and I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I want to just share this. We went into COVID in 2020, and into the year 2020, everybody said, "Oh, this is the year of clear vision, 2020 vision."
Right, I remember. Yeah.
And so everybody's excited about this 2020 being the year of clear vision. Or COVID year, and you're in isolation. Yeah. What happened to your vision? See, that was the time when you really truly should have been seeking your vision, because now you're in isolation and you're not out in the world, so you have nothing else to do. So you should be coming into 2021 and out of 2021 with a clear vision. Yeah. Right. Because you had time to really sit and think and focus. Yeah. Focus. Follow one course until successful. And so if you don't do that, then guess what? You missed the mark. Okay.
You preaching tonight, Mr. Ryan.
So with the event, I guess my question is: first of all, you have a son?
I have two sons. My sons are, and I'm blessed to have two sons. Both of them living in California. One of them is a professional photographer. He travels the world. Awesome. With different celebrities for living with them, and then my other son, my youngest son, started a skateboard company.
That's what's up.
And he has his own skateboard brand. As a matter of fact, I reached out to both of them the other day. I think my youngest son is going to send me a couple of skateboards to be able, because we want to be able to give gifts to our guests, and so he's sending me a couple of skateboards. Well, just the board, not the entire wheels and everything.
Okay, right. They got to get their own wheels, right?
How old is your youngest?
My youngest son is 29.
Okay, so I guess what I wanted to say, like with these millennials and the way life is, I feel like pushing the parents in a corner by putting so much in front of them and making them feel like we're the bad guys and we're wrong for not accepting the things that they are normalizing. Example, I got a son, and smoking has come up in my house. Tattoos have come up in my house. My son's only 16. Things of that nature, or staying out to a certain time. The way it's being presented to me, It's like I'm wrong, and I'm an '80s baby, so this is all I know. Things as far as these are your particular chores or your duties or responsibilities at the house. My son feels like he can actually say, "Well, I don't think I should do that," or "I think that's your job," type of deal.
And you're right. They're not even called millennials anymore.
Because we're actually millennials.
The new brand.
Yeah, they're Generation Z.
Generation Z.
Yeah, our kids are Generation Z.
But yeah, to your point, it becomes a sense of entitlement. And when I would go into high schools and speak to high school students, I would always have a blank piece of paper with me, and I would have it in my pocket. And at the close of it, I would say, I have a list of everything that you are entitled to.
Not a doggone thing.
And I would pull out that piece of paper and hold it up.
Right.
And there's nothing on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's right.
And this is what you are entitled to. Nothing.
I know.
Nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know, and it's so crazy because when I told you I do public speaking, so I've done several graduations. I don't know how many graduations I've done and commencements and things of that nature. And one of the things I've had a couple of parents come to me, and they were, I can't say angry, but they kind of felt a little offended, if you want. And I said, hey, you know, you are not, you know, you hadn't done an achievement when you graduate from high school. That's not an achievement.
Yeah, that's a
that's a requirement.
Yes.
Graduate from college, then you've achieved something.
Right.
But graduate from high school, yeah, we'll celebrate with you for a little while. But you are required to graduate from high school.
My uncle stated all the time, like, why are you buying kids a car for graduating from high school? What you gonna do when they graduate college? Like a house? Like what? Yeah.
But you know, this is an event that we really want to do, to be able to speak life, and it's probably going to end up being something that we will continue to do on a monthly basis. Just continue to just reach out to different people.
So what's the age group of the kids?
When we started this, it was going to be a certain age, but I've had, looking at the registration, I've had people from the adults all the way down to some youngsters to register. So I mean, and it's open. So
it's open. Okay.
It's open. Registration started when it opened on yesterday. To a few people, but I'm going to make it live today and tomorrow. But yeah, we want to invite at least, at least with the cutoff number is going to be 1,000 people because it's going to be nationwide. And I've had the privilege of reaching out to several principals that I know about, you know, just asking their schools to participate in that kind of thing. So yeah, once we get it up and running, and it's going to be something that we really want to make, like I said, a positive, powerful impact in your life.
I love this. It's so needed.
Is it a challenge to actually get the earbud or the headphone off their ear and try to reach them? Like, what's a technique that you guys are going to use? And I'm so serious or so sincere right now when I ask, what's the technique that you guys are going to use to overthrow or overshadow the who they are following, the people they are listening to?
And I think
friends, celebrities, what have you.
We're gonna of course it's gonna be interactive, so we want to make sure we do interact, and there are gonna be some prizes that we can give away, and you know, ask questions. We want it to be engaging, not sitting there listening for 2 hours, but we want to definitely make sure that it's engaging. When you talk about getting the children, one of the things I laughed because I said, you know, one of the things to do was to get these celebrities together all on one page. I was like, wait a minute.
The grown folks sometimes it's hard.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Karan, and he'd already said, yeah, I'll commit to do it. Then I'll say, okay, let me call this person and see if he can commit, and I call that. And so getting them all to commit, that was a challenge.
Right.
And it's just because, you know, some of them are doing movies, and some, you know, they're just schedules.
Right.
And so, you know, carving out the 2 hours on that Saturday just to give back to our young people, that I think that's what did it. It's just, you know, I said, you know, it's really geared to our young people, which it really is, but giving that time to our young people, and they were all for it. So I'm appreciative of it. Yeah.
What about the cell phones? You thought about a no cell phone zone? Maybe put the phones in a basket when they get in there and get it back in their breaks or something?
Well, it's mainly because it's virtual, so we can't control
they're going to be on it. Okay.
That's virtual,
Okay.
so
I'm thinking in person.
Yeah. No, and hope and next year that's where we definitely want to be, because this is the start. before COVID, one of the things that we did, it was myself and a couple other celebs. For my birthday, every year, I would go to South Cobb High School in Cobb County. It was either on my birthday or around my birthday, and just really have an opportunity to speak to kids. And so that was the start of our quote unquote tour. And so what we really want to do with this is to go on a nationwide tour, going into different communities and having the opportunity to make a positive, powerful impact and speak life into our young people.
Amazing. Yes. And I think it's perfect timing, not only coming out of, I don't know if I should even say if we're still in the midst of, but I'm going to say coming out of the pandemic, but also this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is especially in the Brown community. Something that's pushed under the rug a lot. And I tell people all the time, we go to the doctor for our foot, our sight, for everything else. We need to go to the doctor for our mental health.
Absolutely.
It should not be a stigma. If you're okay saying you have a stomach ache,
right.
So you should be comfortable enough to say if you have something wrong mentally as well, and be okay with going to get it fixed, whether it's at a traditional doctor, a group setting like this, whatever it is, but pouring into your mental is important.
Yeah, I agree with
it
that.
Starts at the head.
Yeah.
Now tell us again when, where, how, who, all that's kind of logistics.
So the best way is to find me on social media. It's at Stand Tall Ryan. You can find me on social media. And the event is called A Conversation with Ryan and Friends. It is going to be Saturday, May 15th from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link and everything, if you find me on social media, it is on Zoom. And you have to register for the event, of course, because we're only holding it to 1,000 people. So if you find me on social media, you can definitely register for the event and be able to participate.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's free, y'all. Did y'all catch that piece? Yeah. Can the mommies come too or sit them out?
It is open.
Okay. Awesome. We got about 4 minutes, y'all. Thank you for coming, Ryan. It's always a blast to have you here. So you always have a seat here at Vonnie in the City.
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll be bringing Ryan and Friends to his 92.3. I know you got to make some.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I charge it to my head and not to my heart.
What is that?
David Tolliver, who sings with Men at Large, is also going to join us. I forgot about David.
I love David Tolliver.
And David is going to join us. And Dunk, his name is Trail Webb. Dunk, they call him Dunk. He was the when Bootsy, I keep calling him Bootsy, little Bootsy. They were rapping together. I can't remember what's his name.
The rapper?
Yeah, the Bootsy. Okay, they were together. So he's also one of our speakers. I think that's coming in Friday. I think I come in Friday.
So that lineup is amazing. You all don't want to miss it. But do you all have big plans for Mother's Day next week? No?
I'm going. Yeah. My husband, he's taking me out of town, so I'm gonna be on the beach somewhere.
Yes. I have Mountain next weekend, though, so I'm gonna make up for it.
Okay.
I hadn't made any plans yet. Well, I mean, I have plans, but I think we're gonna go to the Botanical Gardens. Do some things.
You know, I wanted to go there today. But the other event was going on, and I didn't want to miss the other event.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I plan on getting there. You been before?
I've never been.
I ain't never been either. And people keep on telling me how beautiful
it is.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. Well, we don't have time to tap into it, but that's where I had that interesting experience. I don't know if y'all remember, I told y'all about the women's photo shoot we did, and that guy and the argument and all that stuff, and he ran the little boy over with the bike. That was at Botanical Gardens. But it's pretty though outside that. Well, we got 2 minutes, y'all. We're gonna do our circle of love real quick. Go around, tell everybody who you is, who you bees, where you bees at on social media, all that kind of good stuff, how to find you, and we're gonna wrap it up.
All right, this is your girl Skylar. You can find me on Instagram at @thereal_Skylar Jenkins.
All right, and she got another social media handle. Tell them about your lingerie line.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Always check us out at Hudson Newkirk. Also on Instagram and Facebook, we have lingerie and apparel for men and women of so many wonderful sizes.
Yeah.
As we always say, everybody is sexy at Hudson Park. So check us out.
Yes.
Everybody.
All right, so this your boy Deontay, aka Blue. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Melody 33. And look, I want to say this, and don't let Siobhan fool you. She a slick comedian too. She got some on her social media. I saw it, and I immediately dropped the phone on the bed.
What was it?
The guy said, "Can we be more than friends?" The girl said, "Yeah,
hilarious.
we can be cousins." I thought when I read the joke, I said, "This is such a Siobhan joke." Like how earlier she said, "Yeah, we can write. I'll write you."
So silly, Deontay.
I thought that was funny.
One more time for the road, Mr. Ryan. Tell them how to find you and all that kind of good
Find
stuff.
me on social media at Stand Tall Ryan. At Stand Tall Ryan.
Thank you all. It's your girl Siobhan Noel. Follow me on Vonnie in the City at Siobhan Noel, and of course, follow Hits 92.3 on all social media platforms. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Make sure you catch
Follow
Vonnie
me.
each and every Sunday.
Everybody knows where I'm at this time.
And they calling you?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be like me too.
Or when you're not there,
Nobody
phone dry. They don't get phone dry. Nobody calls.
I text them back. You must not be tuned in.
No, we're on it right now.
What was your
The real _ Skyla Jenkins.